So, let's talk about Princess Peach. Ever since her debut in the Famicom and later Nintendo Entertainment System smash hit Super Mario Bros., Princess Toadstool, aka Peach of the Mushroom Kingdom, has been a recurring character in Nintendo's flagship series. For more than 3 decades, she has starred together with Mario and the rest of the gang in everything from typical platformers to recreational sporting events. She has been fantasy go-karting, playing oversized board games, and even rumbled it out with other weirdos from the multiverse before some of you were even born. It's fair to say that Princess Peach is pretty iconic. Not only is she an important addition to the expansive Mario Bros. Cast, but arguably the most recognizable female video game character ever created by the filthy hands of a human being. However, despite all of that, she's definitely most known for being an archetypal damsel in distress. You could even say that she's the damsel in distress, that she's the poster child of the trope. If you're playing any of the so-called mainline Mario games, you can expect to see some variation of the original's basic setup, where Bowser kidnaps the princess and Mario sets out to save her. It's classic fairy tale stuff really, traditional to a fault. It's such a normalized state of being for Peach that I wouldn't be surprised if most people just take it for granted at this point. The unfortunate status quo for a princess in the Mario universe, I suppose. But, once in a while, Peach manages to break free from the shackles of antiquated storytelling tropes and actually gets to participate on the same terms as Mario, Luigi, or this weird fungi freak. It goes to show that she can be just as capable as those other clowns when it comes to jumping, throwing fireballs, and whatever else it is that they do on their platforming adventures. These moments of triumph only make the times where she doesn't get to play along with the others so much more disappointing though. She doesn't even necessarily have to be playable all the time. It's just a bit boring to keep this absolute queen in the clutches of a sexy dinosaur man for close to 40 years, when she could be doing literally anything else instead. So when the second trailer for the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie premiered and showed off Princess Peach in a more active role, I for one thought it was a refreshing change of pace. And I'm certainly not alone either. A lot of people seemed excited about Peach actually getting the chance to do things other than sitting on the sidelines for once. To a lot of us, it's a rare treat, something that only happens when all the stars align in perfect harmony every 20 years or so. I doubt this is going to unravel the status quo of the entire franchise or anything, but it's nice to be thrown a bone every now and then, you know. Not everyone seems to be as excited about this change, however. Some absolute characters poisoned by the so-called culture war took one peek at the posters and went straight into doing their regular old song and dance.
This is not Peach. This is woke propaganda. She can do anything you say. Sounds to me like they SJW'd her into a girl boss Mary Sue. And what's up with her face anyway? She's a princess. She should look nicer, not like she's evil and hellbent on destroying the lives of innocent men. I can't believe they ruined Princess Peach of all characters.
You might think I'm being hyperbolic here, and I wish, but no. Some of the more gamer-brained people out there, called Jeremy probably, saw a few seconds of footage and instantly did this face. Because it was too woke for them apparently. You see, Peach kicked up a halberd while in a different outfit from her regular old dress, which is most likely a crime somewhere in the world. Jeremy is joined by an assortment of other personalities complaining that the movie is inaccurate to the games for not keeping Princess Peach in a cage.
This isn't a new character. Peach has been an established character where she has been a delicate princess for a very long time.
She should be the damsel.
What exactly is this supposed to be? Are they making Peach into like a badass Mary Sue?
you can see her eyebrows are in a slight frown. Now, you may think this is strange for the dainty Princess Peach, but of course, one look at the trailer and you can quickly see why she's got this stern expression, because her appearance in the trailer, if you ask me, is totally out of character.
They're constantly making it that a man can't rescue a woman, when that's actually a really important fundamental thing that boys should be taught. It's like, if you see someone in trouble, especially women and girls, you step up and do the protective role, because that is your role as a man.
Even Ben Shabibo, who hasn't played a video game in his entire life, is on top of this one, ready to, hypothetically, tear the woke mind virus a new one.
They couldn't just allow it to be what the actual video game is, where Princess Peach is the thing that you're saving, right? Now Princess Peach has to be the kick-ass woman.
Can I just say that I absolutely love how Anita Sarkeesian is still living rent-free in these people's heads 10 years after the fact. She really hit them hard. The poor bastards. Frankly, I find this reactionary way of looking at media entertainment to be a bit sad. Look, it's not that you can't criticize this movie, Hollywood, or the way trends are followed in the industry, but once you get to the point where your knee-jerk reaction is to complain about wokeness every single time you see a woman doing anything in a movie, I think you might need to take a step back. If anything, I think constantly searching for these spooky feminist ghosts everywhere might make it harder for these dorks to engage with what is actually being shown to them. Like, is Princess Peach actually snubbing Mario of the hero status in this movie? Is she really this bossy bitch who doesn't need anyone else but herself? Looking at the trailer, I don't get that impression. I mean, she isn't kidnapped this time around, frowns a bit and twirls a weapon while in a cool outfit, but that's about it. If you pay attention, you might even be able to understand what the movie is doing and why they made some of these changes. So let's take a look at these trailers to see what they communicate and perhaps figure out what the Mario movie is about. What fun! These are just a bunch of scattered scenes and we don't have the entire context, mind you, but with some deduction and a little speculation, I think we can piece together a somewhat solid picture of the basics. First of all, I think it should be obvious to everyone that the Super Mario Bros. Movie is self-contained and doesn't adhere to any events that have happened previously in the video games. It's an origin story which sees Mario and Luigi, two plumbers from Brooklyn, finding themselves in a fantastical, unfamiliar world far away from their own. This is clear from the fact that we see the brothers in the real world, probably fixing Pauline's fancy toilet or something, juxtaposed with Mario being shot out of a pipe into the Mushroom Kingdom, and his confusion about where he has ended up. Meanwhile, Luigi has found himself in the clutches of the evil King Bowser, who is preparing to take over the world with the MacGuffin he has war-crimed his way to. And so, Mario sets out to save his brother and meets a brave Toad who leads him to the Mushroom Kingdom Castle, where Princess Peach comes into the picture. Peach is understandably concerned about the whole Bowser situation, his progress even visualized by this rad three-dimensional map. Her mushroom warriors are all cowards, so Mario ends up having to take on the role of the unlikely hero. There's a training montage, a motivational speech about the vastness of the universe, before they go on an adventure together to do something. Which could be recruiting the Kongs to their cause, finding a powerful artifact to counter Bowser, or pretty much anything else. We don't know yet. You'll have to see the movie to find out. The specifics are not that important though, because from all of this, we can understand the dynamic between Princess Peach and Mario the Bro. Mario is your classic fish-out-of-water character. He doesn't know anything about the Mushroom Kingdom and needs to learn about this strange new world from other characters that do know. In this way, he's a typical stand-in for the audience, who might not know either. He's basically here to ask the questions that otherwise wouldn't be asked. Peach, on the other hand, is the character who answers these questions and helps our hero back on his feet. Hence why she can't be kidnapped in this particular story. Sure, the brave Toad could possibly have served this purpose too, as could a bunch of other characters, but I think it makes way more sense to put Peach in that role. Peach is the monarch of the kingdom in question. She has presumably lived here for quite some time and knows the ins and outs of this magical world. This makes her a particularly fitting character to act as a guide for our somewhat clueless hero. Peach is someone with a wealth of knowledge of the world. She's a human character, which makes her more familiar to the audience, and perhaps most importantly, she's already established to have the qualities of a leader. Having Peach guide Mario on his adventure is admittedly a departure from the games, but we think it's a sensible change to make when adapting the source material into a feature-length movie experience for the entire family. The games are a completely different affair that mostly see Mario running around on his own. He barely interacts with other characters, and even when he does, it's not necessarily to advance the narrative. The games are instead mostly about Mario interacting with the environments. You know, clearing obstacles, gathering collectibles, and finishing levels. When translating Mario into another medium, some things naturally have to change to work. A movie can't rely on that really sweet gameplay to save it, so to speak. Turning the Mario universe into a film requires a much heavier focus on character interactions than what the traditional platforming games offer. Mario, as our main guy, needs other characters to bounce off of, to express his thoughts and feelings, to move the story forward, and for exposition and context to be delivered to the audience. In that sense, I believe the idea that Princess Peach has to be a damsel in distress is too restrictive, to put it mildly. In fact, to a movie writer, it might as well be seen as wasting a perfectly good character. The only female one too, mind you. Let's face it, there is no way that either Nintendo or Illumination would throw away the most prominent and recognizable video game woman when debuting their flagship Super Mario Bros. Movie by making her yet another simple princess in jeopardy. Not necessarily because most people would be angry about it, but because it's boring, trite, and old-fashioned. Princess Peach has a lot more utility than that. She frankly has better things to do together with the rest of the cast, other than just being the love interest that our hero scores at the end of the movie. A glorified goalpost. At this point, people like Jeremy and Ben would probably ask, what's the point of having Mario and the other characters stick around if Peach is so capable that she can do everything by herself?
Why does she need someone to rescue her now? She should just win the day herself.
But that's the thing with not paying attention. You miss stuff and ask silly questions like that. This is simply not based on anything shown in the trailers. Princess Peach can't in fact do everything by herself. She's not going to fight Bowser on her own, and she knows this to be true. In the second trailer, she stands in front of the Toads and says that together we can stop this monster. Emphasis on together there. But the Toads exclaim that they're too adorable and clearly won't be fighting any big battles against the sexy lizard man. Cue Mario in the training montage, saying that, "I got this, no problem!" Which tells us that he is the one who's going to help her take care of the big bad Bowser. There's intention behind this editing. It wants to communicate that Peach is indeed a leader, but without warriors to help her, and that Mario is most likely the best she's got. There is nothing indicating that Peach is in fact able to take on Bowser herself. Rather, it's apparent that she is in desperate need of allies to fight with her. Where this notion comes from is once again Peach kicking up that goddamn halberd while dressed up in a badass outfit and slowly walking towards Bowser's ominous castle. But once again, if you pay the slightest bit of attention, you can tell that this is most likely at the back end of the movie, because Bowser is no longer just coming to the Mushroom Kingdom, he's right there at its doorstep. Why is Princess Peach alone with the brave Toad? Where is Mario? We don't know yet, but I think it's fair to say that they have been separated, and that this is a last desperate stand considering how she picks up a discarded weapon from what is presumably a Toad soldier who has already fled the scene. The change into her biker outfit from Mario Kart, which she has had for 15 years at this point, is obviously because she has recently been riding her bike. as seen in the Rainbow Road segment, in which we also see a bunch of Kongs riding along with them. Does Peach and company go to Donkey Kong Island to recruit more strong warriors? That would make sense, because why else would you leave the place where Bowser is coming? To instead meet and greet with the Ape King and his grandson. That's just speculation, of course, but it seems like a fair one, that stopping King Koopa's conquest would be in everyone's best interest. And regardless if this is true or not, it seems clear that Peach can't take down the villain on her own and needs allies to stand with her. Especially based on how Mario is the one fighting Donkey Kong in the Colosseum, not Peach. I think this goes without saying, but Peach is not the only hero in this movie, and I doubt she is here to girl boss our boy in red into submission and take over the role as protagonist or anything. What freaking movie do you think we're watching here? Mario is admittedly a bit of a goofball in the trailers, while Peach on the other hand seems comparably confident and collected. But that's kinda the point. Mario gets his face sucked off by the sheep and has to be helped by Peach and Toad, because it's funny, but also because it serves the overall story. It's not just an obvious callback to the 1993 film, as we have already established, much like this fish, so is Mario out of the water, and needs to learn of this place from the characters who know it. Mario starting out as a regular old plumber from our world, a guy proficient at fixing toilets, coming into a magical one full of talking mushrooms is a perfect character for gags, one who face plants into the unknown. But he's likewise great as our main character. Mario needs to start out as a clueless traveler to then learn to become the hero that we all know he can be. He first needs to be beat up by Donkey Kong's unmatched strength to eventually overcome him by using his own unique talents, by being determined and clever. And it has to be this way, because this is a movie about Mario becoming Super Mario. I find it a bit ridiculous that some people would look at the little we have seen of Peach in the trailers and come to the conclusion that she's too competent and is going to destroy the movie with her woke girl bossing. Some people looked at her twirling what they proclaim to be the wrong weapon a little too well, and now, all of a sudden, she's not only the strongest character in the movie, but also the hero of it. I have even seen people say she's not feminine enough.
Well, they're taking away the femininity of Peach. Yeah.
Princess Peach!
Yeah.
Give it her pants!
And like, are you really going to tell me that this pink, skin-tight biker outfit together with this weapon is enough for her to become less feminine to you? Dude, I would let her step on me! Yeah, she isn't using her umbrella as a weapon in this particular scene, but that's not even a real complaint about the movie. At best, it's a massive nitpick. I'm sorry, but if your first reaction to seeing this is to say that this isn't Princess Peach, then boy do I have news for you, mate. I think you might be wrong about that. You see, this is what we in the business call an adaptation. There is some freedom here to play around with established norms and adjust them to make it more interesting. Granted, there are many ways of accomplishing this, but that doesn't make this one less real than any other potential version. The point is that we shouldn't be so strict about the sanctity of Princess Peach's personality and character of all things. We've already talked about the positives of having Peach go from a passive character to an active one. And this isn't even that novel. It's a tried and true way of shaking things up, and a lot of other creators tasked with adapting Super Mario Bros. Have come to the same conclusion throughout the years. I mean, Peach has been a playable character in the games before. She can even get uncharacteristically angry in her own solo adventure. But we're going to focus on two adaptations in particular that we think are especially relevant when talking about this movie. Two works that we believe have heavily inspired the team behind it. The first one is the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, which began airing in 1989. The show was loosely based on both Super Mario Bros. And the sequel Super Mario Bros. 2, and sees Mario, Luigi, Toad, and of course, Princess Toadstool going on adventures together. The princess does occasionally get kidnapped by a constantly wardrobe-changing King Koopa, but she features in the vast majority of episodes and is nevertheless a vital part of the team. Anytime Mario and Luigi do something, Peach is not uncommonly seen doing the same, even enthusiastically so. She shows strong leadership skills and will at times give guidance to the bros, not unlike in the new movie actually. She's quite bold too, surprisingly sassy and doesn't shy away from telling her attackers where to shove it, sometimes by outright murdering them. Despite that, Super Show portrays Peach as kind-hearted, but most importantly, it highlights an often forgotten trait of hers. That is to say, her brave and adventurous spirit. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show also hammers home the classic origin story. It's the Mario brothers and plumbing's their game, found the secret warp zone while working on the drain, lend the princess a hand in the Mushroom Land. This might in fact be the very first instance where this backstory is outright stated at all, at least as far as we could tell after researching it. And that's not for a lack of trying either. We looked through manuals in both English and Japanese, scoured through promotional material and read interviews from key developers. We even looked through every early issue of Nintendo Power, and this particular backstory wasn't remotely hinted at until they published an article about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. So, by all means, correct us if we're wrong, because I would honestly love to know. But it appears that the whole Brooklyn origin was indeed invented by the Super Show writers. They scrambled it together with barely anything of a series Bible to go by, so it seems fairly conclusive. But regardless if that is true or not, I nevertheless think it's safe to say that this is the most defining and recognizable instance of the Brooklyn backstory. When people think of it, they think of Super Mario Bros. Super Show. So when we see the Mario Bros. Living in Brooklyn in the new movie, the inspiration seems obvious. The other adaptation we want to focus on is the comic Super Mario Adventures, loosely based on Super Mario World. This little gem was first serialized in the popular monthly American magazine Nintendo Power throughout 1992, and once again saw the bros Mario and Luigi going up against Bowser and the Koopa kids in a fun, action-packed adventure. The brothers are especially goofy and expressively cartoony in this one, bumbling their way into dangerous situations that they then have to improvise their way out of. The buffoonish antics of our heroes is curiously counterbalanced by the spicy, confident, no-nonsense Princess Peach, who is absolutely wild in the best kinds of ways. When Bowser appears and the brothers get their asses handed to them, she's not just standing there. She actually leaps headfirst from her tower, assumes battle formation with her minions, and chases him down. This shit is awesome! I love her! I'd let her step on me! She is so stubborn and feisty that even after she gets taken by the Koopa kids, she tricks and kicks the shit out of them anyway. Because she can. At one point, she dresses up as Luigi and blows everything up! I can't believe they made Princess Peach woke in 1992. Super Mario Adventures excellently subverts the expectations of who Princess Toadstool can be, and hones in on the brave and headstrong parts of her personality to bring us one of, if not the best adaptations of Peach. It's easy to draw parallels with the upcoming movie as well. The comedic dynamic of the clueless brothers paired with the steady-footed princess feels familiarly classic. From the broad strokes of characterization down to the little details, just like with the Super Show, the inspiration seems obvious.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come!
I've seen some people say that these adaptations are somehow obscure, but that's so far from the truth it's almost ridiculous. Super Mario Bros. Super Show was a big deal, and no doubt formed a lot of people's understanding of Mario at the time, as did Super Mario Adventures. They were both distributed all over the world, even finding their way over here in Sweden. Me and Kiki had both growing up. No, I think it's clear that the writers, directors, and animators of the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie were heavily inspired by a lot of things, but these two in particular. I can't know for certain, but considering Illumination is an animation studio based in the United States, it makes sense that a lot of the staff working on it would be Mario fans who were introduced to the series in the 80s and 90s. It's safe to assume that many of them not only played the games, but also saw the Super Show and read Nintendo Power. And this applies to the audience as well. Parents taking their kids to the theaters will no doubt be in the right age range to be nostalgic about the time when they got hooked on the brothers so many years ago. A surefire recipe for a bona fide family flick. The similarities between these adaptations and the Super Mario Bros. Movie tells us that Princess Peach has always had a spunky and adventurous streak to her, even if it's not always apparent in the games. Playing around with the characters of the Mushroom Kingdom, especially Peach, has clearly always been an exciting prospect for writers when reinterpreting the video games into a new format. In fact, it seems almost inevitable that whenever someone is given this task, they more often than not come to the same conclusion, that Princess Toadstool should be an active character with a more spicy personality to complement her otherwise sweet demeanor. As such, it seems evident that not only was this new interpretation inspired by the past, but that it would have ended up this way regardless. We don't actually need these old examples to enable the possibility for Peach to be portrayed in this manner. They are merely neat historical backing that refuted as some new radical idea awkwardly forced upon the Mario mythos. Evidence points towards this rephrasing of the games to be pretty expected, that a writer taking the bleeps and bloops of a pixel man would most likely explore who he is and what kind of world he lives in through the things he and his friends both say and do. Which includes the otherwise terminally damseled princess, who on the surface is easily one of the most interesting characters to explore further. Why wouldn't you make her a more prominent part of your story? The core setup in Super Mario Bros. Harkening from Donkey Kong and by that merit Popeye is nothing more than a framing device that was somewhat thoughtlessly defined in the mid-80s and has since then stuck around to this day. Notable examples being 2017's Super Mario Odyssey and 2020's Paper Mario The Origami King. I don't think it's going away anytime soon, although it should, but it has also been shown time and again that it doesn't have to be played completely by the books. Despite the differences the Mario movie seemingly introduces, it still stays surprisingly true to the core conflict of the Mario series. Princess Peach and the Mushroom Kingdom are put in peril by Bowser, and Mario needs to stop him. The princess just happens to be a bigger part of the adventure this time around. And I, for one, think that's pretty neat. And sure, I see how it could be easy for a company like Nintendo to be self-conscious about their old ways and haphazardly subvert it for easy clout points. I absolutely believe there is something to be said in regards to corporate insincerity. There is criticism to be levied at any company that vaguely gestures in the direction of progressive causes without actually doing anything of value to support them. Disney can put as many supposedly first gay characters in their movies as they want, but if they're scrubbed away as soon as they reach China, it all rings awfully hollow, doesn't it? Although, I don't think this is exactly what the Jeremys of the world are complaining about when they call something woke. Using that as a pejorative comes with a lot of connotations. It often seems to be a criticism which leans more towards suggesting that the progressive causes themselves are performative and insincere, rather than the corporations. It's not just that the corpos are doing a bad feminism, it's that feminism itself is bad, actually. It should go without saying, but I'm not implying that everyone who dislikes the direction of the Mario movie hates feminism, or women for that matter. I do, however, think that it's quite telling how there are so many words used to describe situations where female characters don't fall in line. Woke, and especially Girl Boss and Mary Sue, are typically not used to deride male characters, which makes it seem to me that some people are just conspicuously critical and dismissive every time a woman appears on the big screen. They're looked at with suspicion and met with resistance before anyone has even seen the movies in question. And the amount of scrutiny they are given is so disproportionate and overwhelming that it easily finds itself filtered into otherwise reasonable criticism. I don't mean to be accusatory, but it can at times be hard to distinguish between those attempting to criticize corporations for being insincere and those other guys exclusively complaining about women in movies all the time. It is true that Nintendo is making Princess Peach more prominent and active, at least in part, to gather more of those shiny gold coins. They want to incentivize more women and girls to see the Mario movie so that they become invested in the brand, turn into fans, and then buy into the entire ecosystem. I think most people can understand that the movie is essentially just a feature-length commercial for the theme parks, merchandise, and their games. We're all being pandered to in this consumerist hellscape, but I find it somewhat strange that so much piss is being boiled when women and girls in particular are the ones being even partially catered to. Hearing a living D&D campaign on a podcast say that Peach has to be rescued by Mario because young boys need good role models so that they can learn what being a man is all about, instantly brings up the question, what about young girls? What are they supposed to do? Who's their role model? Even if this guy hasn't thought this through, he is admittedly talking off the cuff, the implication of what he's saying is that girls will be just fine with role models who mainly serve the purpose of propping up boys, women who basically forfeit their own agency to fulfill someone else's conservative gender role. And if this wasn't his intention, it still speaks to something underlying about how people see women and girls in entertainment media, doesn't it? I find it concerning that this is such an issue for people, because even beyond the possibility of big corporations doing an insincere feminism, I really find this to be pretty tame, all things considered. I mean, is Princess Peach actually woke now? Was she always woke? Or have we passed the woke horizon? Perhaps a better question is, who the heck gives a crap? It's Princess Peach. She's been in a cage for 60 years. It's time to let her out. Princess Peach is an old player in the game. She's been around for a while. She represents many different things, but if her most stereotypical female trait has always been passivity, I don't believe that is what should define her. Sure, I don't expect everyone to be familiar with her previous escapades outside of damseling, but even then, it's hard to see this as a radical departure from what came before. If doing something so unremarkable as switching up a conservative, old-fashioned and cliched character to be more active is too much for you, then I don't really know what to say. That sounds like a you problem more so than one with the industry itself. I would be laughing if it wasn't so tragic. If anything, it's about damn time for Peach to be set free forever, to show that she has skills besides standing still and waiting for trouble to find her. Super Mario Bros. 2 should have set the standard a long time ago, and ever since, we've had all of these pushes, all of these attempts to make Princess Peach someone a little bit more peppy and rambunctious. This is just the last in a long line, and hopefully, with this one, it sticks for good. I don't know if there was a point to this video. I just wanted to talk about Princess Peach, really. So, anyway, See you in a few years when Nintendo announces Super Mario Bros. 2 and these guys get really angry about Princess Daisy having darker skin or something. On that note, thank you for watching all the way to the end. This was a shorter one, but we're currently working on a really big Klonoa video, which will hopefully be the next one. We're trying to reorganize a bit and want to make more smaller videos in between the big ones. So, if you want to support that, we'd appreciate if you did so through our Patreon, patreon.com/transparens. And by doing so, you get neat behind-the-scenes audio companions for every new episode, access to our Discord, and could even have your name read out loud right here, like these lovely people right here. All Purpose Nobody, Afayette, Ben Clark, Bibi the Bitch, Dave Pickett, Dr. Puntgusher Esquire, Eden Senta, Ember, Fran Rogers, Gage McColgan, Harper Adkins, Intention, Joy Content, Kane Kisaragi, Klaus Morals, Matthias Grauman, MeowMix64, Mary Mello, Mr. Tellius, Mosling, Naive Bayesian, Nischsvert, Paperlanti, Sarah Bloomer, TB Skyen, Vox, Yami Shaggy, Abigail Nail, Ada Avery, Anna Day, Andreas, Anonymous, Aria Soria, Aurora Knaut, Autumn, Autumn Muse, Billy Moran, Butch Frivari, Celeste, Charles Goldhaber, Chester Lacroix, Chloe, Chloe Strange, Chris Marshall, Elliot Diebold, Emmy Murphy, Ephemeral Mist, Erin Olivia, Ferris Feline, Floof Quist, Friend of Dracula, Furn, Henrik, Hope, Il Caesar, Indigo Trance, Infernal Ramblings, JIR Not, Jeon Jung, J Mission, Jelly God, Jen, Jose Edmundo Sanz Daza Perez, Kadaf, Catherine Jibes, El Tantivi, Marika, Marbi, Mike Negrelli, Minced Fish, Mitch Haley, Nathan Schaff, Passion Tentacle, Saxon, Scott from NerdSync, Sean McDonald, Seth X Odyssey, Shogun, Sean Wolfbark, Silkmoth, Skyhoppers, Sleepy, Sleepy Slug, Surashu, Talia Parkinson, That Queer Birdman, Tiny Sam, VG, and Zach Armstrong. We'd also like to introduce Avan Sarles, Freezer, James Mitchell, Jess Johnson, Leah Horn, Leo Sherrill, Lyra Dawn, me, and Zoe. Thanks to all of you for making this possible. And if you've listened this far, I also want to make a prediction about the Mario movie, about the halberd in particular actually. I believe it's a Chekhov's gun of sorts. Princess Peach will drop it at some point, and through some shenanigans, it will be used as the classic bridge dropping axe from the original game, helping Mario defeat Bowser, plummeting him into the lava. Check back here in April so you can tell me I was right in the comments. I'm going to be right.